So recently I was wasting some time on YouTube, shocker, and I came across a bunch of string of videos where they would show the cast of a TV series or a movie from like the 70s or 80s and then show what they look like today. So it would show them in their prime and then show a current picture of them or either when they died. And after watching a bunch of these videos, it was really interesting. So if you ever have the chance to do that, let me just tell you, don't do it. You'll come to the sobering depression that everybody gets old. It's funny, even like you're the coolest James Bond actor or the prettiest actress or model or your favorite sports hero, eventually you're going to see him hunched over with a cane and incoherent. So it's kind of sad that aging is something that none of us can escape. It's just part of life. But there definitely are some things we can do to age more gracefully. So that's what this video is about today. It's interesting how a lot of us have this inherent fear of aging. In fact, there's a horror movie that just came out recently called Old about this, about aging faster than we want to, playing on our fears. An interesting thing about aging is when we're younger, it seems like we can do so many things. Like as a teenager, you can get away eating junk food all the time without gaining weight. You can pull an all-nighter, not get sleep, and still function the next day. But once you get over 30, try to do that stuff, and it's not going to work. You're going to pay the piper. An example of this is little kids, like toddlers, when they get an injury. They might fall over and conk their head and get a goose egg or a bruise. Just over the course of the day, you can actually watch it heal. I mean, they heal so quickly. It reminds me of Wolverine in X-Men, how he has that ability to heal his wounds. Same sort of thing with little kids. It's interesting. And as you age, though, I was doing some yard work the other day, got a lot of scratches on my arms from some thorn bushes. Actually, the other day, it was actually a month ago, I still got these scabs and stuff. So it's kind of scary how when you get older, you don't heal as quick as you used to. Things take longer than they used to. So some people definitely age more gracefully than others. And I don't want to turn this into the Hollywood Minute gossip column type thing, but I just want to point out an example with some celebrities. If you look at people like Tom Cruise, Jennifer Lopez, Halle Berry, Rob Lowe, Keanu Reeves, people like that, I mean, they look, if you compare them to how they looked in the 80s, it's like they've hardly aged, and it's like, how do they do that? Now, there's a couple of reasons. One big one, though, is they've got some resources. They've got the money. They probably have a full-time staff because that's their job to help them look good. But they can afford, better nutrition. They can afford the trainers and the working out. They can afford a massage therapist. They can afford cosmetic surgery or whatever procedures they need. So obviously, that's a big part of it. But at the same time, you got to admit, some people do a great job of aging very slowly and looking great as they get older. So I'd like to share 10 different things that can impact how we age. The first one is genetics, and unfortunately that's something we don't have any control over. It's very unfair, that topic. But if you just think about, sometimes maybe you've been to a class reunion, or you've heard someone that went to their 25-year reunion, and they went and they saw their friends, and like some people look just like they did in high school. You could just put them back in the hall and it looks just like a picture from 25 years ago. Whereas others are looking around and it's like, who's that gray guy? Was he a teacher or an administrator? No, that's so-and-so. It's like, oh, so it's just unfair how some people can just age a lot quicker than others. But genetics is one reason for that, and there's not a lot you can do about that. Number two is disease or illness. Again, unfortunately, that's something that can really be rough on your body and speed up that process in some cases. Number three is stress. Stress, a great way to illustrate this, I've got some pictures I want to show you here. These are presidents of the United States before they took office and then after they completed their term of service. So just look at some of these, the look on them before versus after. Can you imagine Lincoln and the Civil War, the kind of stress that would have brought? But every president, regardless of who they are, they always look a lot grayer, a lot more stressed, a lot more wrinkles. It wears you down when you have a lot of stress in your life. Number four is smoking. Now, we know it's bad for your lungs and your health, but also your skin, especially your hands and face. It can age quicker if you're a smoker. Number five is alcohol and drug use. I remember back in the early 2000s, a lot of law enforcement agencies started this campaign called Faces of Meth, where they would take these drug addicts over time and show each of their mugshots over an amount of time, and you could see what was happening to their bodies. So here's an example of this, and this just makes me so sad when you see these. But this is a young, attractive woman in the first picture, and then you can just see over time, over the years, as they keep getting pulled in for more mugshots and more problems with the law, more drug use, just how that ages their body is just so rough on it. And so obviously that's a huge one that you want to avoid. Number six is excessive sunlight or tanning. Obviously the sun's good for us. It's a source of vitamin D. It's healthy to be out in the sun, but not too much, and you want to make sure and take protective measures. Some people spend so much time out in the sun and they get, kind of leather face, and it opens you up for skin cancer and skin damage when you get too much sun. So you want to be careful about that. Number 7 is getting the sleep you need. We really need time for our body to rest and recover and recuperate, all those good R's. It'll make a big difference if your body's rested versus one that's just always going and under a lot of stress in that regard. So rest is super important. Number 8 is nutrition. That can make a big difference. Again, if you're eating junk food all the time, your body's not going to have the building blocks it needs, not only for fuel, but think about this. All the cells in your body are constantly dying and regenerating. So your body is always replacing itself over and over a series of months, different organs or systems and things like that. So it's very important that you get proper nutrition. Number 9, pollutants. That can take a toll on you over time, especially air pollution. That can be rough on your skin. Okay, and number 10 is lack of exercise. You've probably heard the phrase use it or lose it, and that gets really true as we get older. Our body is naturally going to be losing muscle every year unless we're doing something to counteract that. So that's why it's important to do resistance training and stay active. We're already so sedentary as it is, most people, and so we really want to make sure that we are being active and doing something so we'll improve our strength and also our mobility. That's another thing that goes really quick if we're always stationary. So be active, go out and do something that'll help you to age better. So with these 10 things here, what can you do to age more gracefully? Of the things I listed, some of those you can control, some you can't, but the ones you can control, think about what could you do better, maybe with your nutrition or your exercise or things to avoid that aren't good for you. So that's the first thing you can do to age more gracefully. Another thing you can do is to have some good quality recreation, a hobby or something that you're passionate about. It's always sad when you hear of someone that they retire and like 3 months later they die because they're just sitting on the porch with nothing left. They kind of arrived to that point in their life and they don't have anything to look forward to. So people that are always going to be pursuing new hobbies, new activities, new goals, that's going to help with longevity and also keep you young at heart. Another thing you can do is actually associate with younger people. That might sound kind of silly, but for myself, when I'm playing basketball, if I only play with middle-aged guys like myself, I notice we all start playing defense like this with our hands out, fouling and hacking, walking up and down the court. You play against some 20-year-olds, you're going to get some new energy. You're going to be playing a different kind of game. So it doesn't hurt to be around the youth and the people that have all that energy and fervor for life. Let it rub off on you. Anyway, these are just some ideas of things you can do as you're aging to do so more gracefully. But when all else fails, we can always just fake it. This is one of my favorite scenes from The Office, just a really quick clip I want to show you when we try and pretend like we're more young than we really are. I hope you enjoyed this video. I got to cut it short now. I got an appointment. I got to go out with some of my younger friends. We're going to go skateboarding and doorbell ditching in a minute. But feel free to like and subscribe and share, comment on this channel. I've got a lot more fun stuff I'm looking to share with you in the future. And I hope in the meantime, as you age, I hope the most wrinkles you get are from smiling.